Do you know what you do? Go to our room. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are watching us from, you are welcome to the Mentors Show. You're welcome to the Mentors Show tonight. It's sure going to be a wonderful time. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. How has your day been? I hope you've had a fruitful day so far. Tonight, it's going to sure be a wonderful time as always, as usual. Tonight we are having our guest, Mr. Holy Mala himself. And I tell you that you would seriously welcome Chioma. How are you? Chioma, where is my birthday cake? Where is my birthday cake? Good evening, Chioma. So it's sure going to be a wonderful time tonight because we'll be looking at various issues and how we can spark creativity. Our guest, Mr. Oli Malam, has 20 years experience, and you could, agree with me that 20 years experience is phenomenal. It's outstanding. So we'll be learning from him. Now, don't forget on this show, welcome Efeloki TV. Welcome. Don't forget on this show, we inspire you. We help you reinvent yourself, extend yourself, re-innovate yourself, and also to help you to make impact. Welcome, our guest is in help you make impact in your community, in your country, and on your continent. Now, it's important that for all of us as people on earth, there is that thing said, you must know what is your why. Understand what is your existence, why are you existing, and why are you living on earth. This is very important. So as we go into tonight, hey, our guest is in. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. How has your day been, sir?
But thank God, sir. Day has been good.
Yeah, excellent. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Can you see me clearly?
Yes, I can see you clearly and I can hear clearly.
Okay, sir.
Excellent.
Okay, sir.
Excellent. It's nice.
Sir.
I want to, ladies and gentlemen, we have tonight on the show, on the Mentors Show, our guests, our special guest, Mr. Holy Malam. And he has, and you know why I'm using Holy Malam? Because of the correction we had, the conversation we had.
Okay. Yeah, because this is what
Everybody know you as.
exactly.
So, and I understand the issue of branding. You know, when you mention somebody's name, they will think maybe there's a mistake on the flyer that they didn't say, you know, they didn't do well. So that's it. So our guest tonight has 20 years, more than 20 years experience, a man of varied interests and a man that is, you know, broad experience. And interestingly enough, he is an embodiment of this, what we call the Mentors Show. He has mentored quite a lot of people in the comedy space and even outwit of the comedy space. And he continues to still mentor them, you know, provide being a shining light to them. And it's of note that he actually, in Nigeria comedy, started what you can call clean comedy. The not too, you know, no vulgar things. And I think it's a privilege for us tonight to have our guest, Mr. Holy Malam himself, on the show. Welcome, JMK Moment. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's have your questions. We have our own questions ready. Share this, invite your friends. We are live on my Facebook page, Olushola Ajide. We are live on our YouTube channel of Africa Coaching and Mentorship Initiative channel. We are live on Twitch at Africa Mentorship, and we are live on Periscope at Africa Coaching. So tonight is going to be a wonderful time. Welcome, my serious Sobi. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. So let's go for it, sir. Who is Mr. Holy Malam?
Okay. Holy Malam. My real name is Adebayo Ajibola.
Adebayo Ajibola.
Yes. So over the years, in the last past years, I've heard people Adebayo Ajibola, Adebayo Ajibade, Adebayo Abolaji Ajibayo, all
different kinds of Aji.
Yeah,
they just fill it up.
Yes, but my name is Adebayo Ajibola. I'm Yoruba.
Okay.
I'm someone you can refer to me as one half caste like that. So I'll explain that quickly. I'm from Ogun State.
Okay.
I'm Ogun State,
so Ijebu-Renwa.
That's what they say, but I don't know how to respond to that. Yes, because it's been quite a long time since we had, stuff to do with Ijebu.
Okay.
We're based in Lagos. I was born in Lagos.
Okay.
Yes. My mother is from Niger State. She's from Bida in Niger State.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Babangida's state, Bida in Niger State. So
interesting.
She's Fulani Takpa.
She's Takpa?
Yes. Yes, she
is. Interesting.
Yes. I was born into a Christian family.
Okay.
We believe in God and we're practicing Christians by God's grace till date. I have 3 siblings from my mother. Well, 2 guys, 2 ladies. I was going to say 2 boys, 2 girls, but when I remember that our last one is almost 40.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we are 2 guys, 2 ladies. I'm the 3rd child, and I used to Now people see Holy Malam and say, I want to be like you, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to. You don't know much about people until they choose to open up.
Correct.
And what they choose to open up to you is determined by what they feel you should know.
Correct.
So some open up very well, some just give you a little bit, and but at this stage, at this point in my life, in our lives, with all that we've seen in recent times, the past 6-7 months, we can see that those who attach too much importance to life, I mean, things you can see on earth and all that. One should be careful. Whatever you can do, whatever you can give out as much as you can, I think you should.
Yeah.
You should. And what is it you have that God wasn't gracious to give you in the first place?
Correct.
So
Correct.
we don't acquire stuff. We are just recipients from God.
Correct.
Yes, and I've learned and I'm still learning the importance modesty plays in one's life, So, Holy Madam, people see me, comedian, this and that. A lot of people feel that, I was privileged. Like they say it was lucky. Yeah, you finish school, you get a job, you do this, and you do that. No. Life was, like a roller coaster, if I may say. Yeah. Yes, I think it's right to use that word. I was born into a nice family, so it seemed, in every society there are standards, there are standards, there are societal standards. They say, because XYZ, this body of people have said this one is successful, so he's seen as successful in that society. This one is below poverty level, he's seen as poor, I'm just saying. Now, in my own case, I was born into, an okay family. Then gradually, my dad started doing well, started traveling abroad, and all of that, and it was good, and somehow, from there, from Ebutemeta where I was born, we moved to Festac.
Okay.
That was when we started living life was very, very, very sweet.
Great. Somebody is saying, I always thought you are a Malamo. Interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, please share the page. Yeah, I can see you. Somebody says, I always thought you are a Malamo.
Yes, I've always been a Malamo. Okay. If you allow me to digress, I'll come back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
I went to Command Laurel Nursery and Primary School, Command Secondary School, Jos.
Okay.
That's where the Malam thing, we're trained by soldiers, and we always had the Hausa soldiers, and all of that talk to us, and that was where I started using. Unfortunately for me, I can mimic people, the Hausa, the Igbo, the Yoruba, all those accents and all. So that's how we came to Malam. Yeah, I'll talk to you about that later. So, so life, we moved to Festac, and life was very good. It took legs, and everything was going well, and all of that. Then later, the chips went down. Yes, I don't know what happened to my dad. Things were not really good anymore. So he sold the house. We moved to a place, Okoko. That's the opposite of Festac.
Welcome to my neighborhood.
Okay. So you know where I'm talking about.
Okoko, I know Okoko.
Okoko, Michael. Yes, I went to.
I schooled in Jimo Ojora Primary School.
Wow. Okay, so you see. So from Festac, where we were, where we were at the Bottas, everything looks good and everything. We moved to the interior part of Lagos, Okoko Michael. And things were not really as good as I thought. I was a mommy's boy. We had, life was beautiful. So I started learning how to speak pidgin English because I felt like a fish out of water. Yeah, I've learned a lot of things about life. One of them is adaptation.
Correct.
And adoption. If you find yourself in a new environment, there's what they call adaptation. There's what they call adoption. If you are planning for continuity in such situations, you must use the two. adaptation and adoption. So I started doing what they were doing. Started speaking their language. I tried my best to learn pidgin English, and I started speaking it very well. If you ask me today, I'll say, wow, I am grateful that I went through that. You know, but it makes me a better person. I see life from different points of view. See life from different points of view. Is it bad for you to be born with a silver spoon and you continue life like that forever? No, it's not bad. But an added advantage sometimes if you go through those things, those not very, very nice things were, I mean, at some point things were very difficult. It was difficult to pay rent. The landlord will come, and that was where I learned my Igbo accent. And I won't mention his name, but if he ever gets to see this video, he will understand. I learned the Igbo accent through him. He will come and threaten us, threaten my mom. If you will not to pay rent, you have to leave. Yeah, dad is not like that. Yeah, mommy, that cause problem. You know? Wow. It was not meant to be a joke, but I pick everything. I pick everything. I believe that's how every human being should be. That's what they call audience analysis, situational analysis. Everywhere you go in life, everywhere you go in life, be sensitive. Know what's going around you. You know, just pick it up. Who knows? It could help you in the future. You know, it's part of how to live life and enjoy life. You know, and survive in this wonderful world. You know, so we went through that, and things were not very easy. So there were times we had gari, you know. There were times we had gari, we did not have sugar. And you were not allowed to go collect sugar on credit.
On credit.
Till you finish, that will be your last.
Interesting.
That will be your last. I mean, the kind of mother I have, you know. We did not have a television for 5 years. And you were not allowed to go watch somewhere else. Till finish you know. You know, I didn't like her that time. I felt
the wala is too much.
But she was helping us. She was telling us stuff that we didn't understand, that we were just children. You know, we wanted to belong, we wanted to enjoy what every other child in society or in the community was enjoying, but she would not. I remember that my dad was an insurance broker. In 1995, my dad wanted me to work with him, and he was going to give me, they will be paying me 5,000 monthly. That was big compared to the suffering we were going through. And my mother did not allow me because they were separated. He said he will spoil you. She said, and I quote, he will spoil you. So instead of allowing me to go do that, she made me look for a job. I was a teenager. I think I was 17 or 18.
Interesting.
Yeah, she made me look for a job. I went to look for a job where they manufacture doing cubes, you know, seasoning, doing cubes.
Yeah.
Then I was a casual staff for 2 years. 2 years, 96 to 98. 96 to 98. And I was working there as a casual staff, and they were paying us 1,200 per month. You know? I even wanted to join NDA, I remember. But what I was earning per annum was not enough. It was not enough. So I did not qualify. You know, things were very difficult. But I was undergoing training. It was a process.
It's a process,
it was not a nice one. No, it was not a nice one. It was not a nice one. So from 1996 to 98, I was working there. And this is how my life started. 95, 96, I started that job. 97, I was introduced to the USAID.
Okay.
United States Agency for International Development. They are NGO. They work with Johns Hopkins University, FHI, that's Family Health International. They have IPs, you know, Center for Development and Population Activities, basic support for institutionalizing child support, basics, you know, Johns Hopkins. So I started attending courses.
Interesting.
Remember, while we were there, I didn't see the bright side of life. But am I saying those who come from there will go to hellfire? No. Everybody has a right to start from where you were born does not matter.
Correct.
How you were born does not matter.
Correct.
To whom you were born, it is not. All those things don't matter. What really matters is why you were born, which we're going to discuss later.
It
is part of why we're having this forum.
Yeah.
You know? So all those things, I started attending courses. I started, in secondary school. Yeah, I was a drummer. For those who myself, everyone calls me drummer boy. Drummer boy. That drumming was what helped me. So it was like a shield. It was like a front. I could hide behind it because I was exceptionally shy. I was very, very shy. I was a shy person. Then my self-esteem had been messed with. My aunts, my teachers. Then I got into secondary school. A few guys who were bullying me because I was very, very small. Compared to how I look now. When someone was saying the other day, I told them I said humorously, I said God chose to remember me. That's why it made me this tall. I was extreme. I was small. So I got into school and bullies, they will remind me of, that thing you've been carrying. It's like a stigma. Should I use the word stigma? You're carrying it and they remind you that you have no say. You are not supposed to get anything out of life. Then you are reminded that you do not have self-esteem. Good self-esteem. People say, they have low self-esteem. People say they have high self-esteem. In my own case, I had none. It's when you have, you know whether it's low or high. I had no self-esteem. And all of this went on. So the drumming was what I used as a front. And people would not know who this shy guy was. Whenever, and that's what I want people to write. If you can write it down, whenever you're doing what you are wired for, what you are passionate about, what you do almost effortlessly, you don't care about what's around you. You do it like another spirit has entered you. That is one thing I know that can help every human being. So drumming that time, that was the only talent I had.
You had.
That was the only talent that I knew that I had, and I used to do it well. Drum at school, drum in church, drum and all of that, and that was what I thought life was about. And I think that was when I started concluding, because all of this that I've learned over the years, I refer back to those drumming days, because I still drum. I still drum in church and all of that. Yeah. And that gave me this conclusion that God actually gives people as many talents as they can discover. He does not give you one, does not give you two. Only God knows how many he gives each person. So as many as you can discover, you have. So if it is one, you choose, because it is possible for people to have five, possible to have two, it's possible to have one, it's possible to have more than all of this combined. But some people choose because it's convenient sometimes when you don't need to look for a talent. Just be there and just be a consumer. So some people feel that, once I have one, that's okay. At least some people don't have any. In most cases, people have more than that. So for me, it was the drumming I thought. Just giving you a background. Who this guy is. So when people look at me, I want to be like you. I want to be like yourself. You could even be better than me. You could even be better than me. As a matter of fact, one of the things I've learned to say, I've learned about modesty, and I'm still learning, and God will help me. Do you understand? Nobody, I am not better than you. You are not better than me. If I've met you, it's because we are privileged to serve in the same generation. So nobody's better than anybody. I don't care. I don't care what you have, what you don't have, how you look, how you don't. I don't care. Do you understand me? Everybody is the same. White, black, purple, whatever color. Anyway, this is what I went through. I lived a normal life. Not the brightest. I did whatever I could do. I had my beliefs. I understood my theory. From a young age, I believed that I would not work for anybody. How it was going to happen, I don't know. I always believed that. I always believed that. I always believed in myself, but it was difficult for me to express myself because I was shy. So two different parts in one person. So gradually, I joined the USAID and I started attending courses. And I started doing this. I started doing that. And they started teaching me how to express myself. So I did information, education, and communication. I was trained by Johns Hopkins University. I did that course. in 1998. I did Center for Development and Population Activities. I graduated in 99 2000.
Okay.
They made me a peer health educator, and that was how I started speaking in public. That was how I started speaking in public. I thought I was going to be a resource person. I was going to be a speaker. I was going to be a media practitioner because I studied communication arts. You know, those were the things I thought I was going to do. And I was still playing my drums, remember? What I've noticed that the human being is a complex machine. You can do more than you think you can.
Correct.
You can do more than you think you can. Yes, you can do more than you think you can. God, the human being is so complex that if your mind wants to do it, it will be very difficult for anything to stop you. You know, so I was still doing my drumming. I was still attending my church. And I was still doing my USAID stuff.
Yeah.
And I would do it like my life depended on it. Every time we'd go talk to people on how to prevent HIV/AIDS, prevent childhood pregnancy, teenage pregnancy, prevent sexually transmitted diseases, HIV/AIDS, and all of that. And it was as if another spirit had entered me. I was doing it passionately, effortlessly. That was what I had.
And that was an opportunity for you to express yourself,
to express myself,
get confidence, get into advocacy, talk to people, and be passionate about it. Being actually a change maker. You are changing people's lives.
Yes, sir.
You know, like that.
Yes, sir. And that was, you know, and I thought that, at last, I was going to, you know, I had seen a path, I was going to do this, and, you know, that was what I thought. And gradually, you know, then I remember that President Bill Clinton visited Nigeria. I was the best peer health educator. So it was good. They invited me to Abuja. We stayed where the Americans stayed. This and that. I was the best peer health educator. My head was swelling. I thought I'd arrived. You know, compared to where I was coming from.
Correct.
A child who did not have television. Our radio, let me tell you, the kind of radio we used to have, the radio box like this, there was no antenna. So when you're listening to news, it will be overwhelmed. You'll be overwhelmed by
you throw it outside and use anger to put it at the top of the roof.
No, that one is even good. That's it. I am what we were doing. We'll put it inside the gate, then we'll have a wire, copper wire tied to it. Then we'll move it like this. So the waves sometimes will be clear, sometimes it will not be clear. So once it gets clear, we'll tie it and leave it that way. And you know, I remember that my mom used to listen to news. So I wasn't really exposed to information. There was no television. And that's news we used to listen to. It was when anyone my mother wanted to listen to, we would listen to it, and that was it. So I lacked information, so it seemed. I lacked all those things, and gradually God helped me. Then USAID, I attended a lot of courses, especially the one I did under Johns Hopkins University, on information, education, and communication in health. That changed my life. So to speak English, to have a good command of English, to speak before a live audience and have people, you know, I had all of those. It was brought to me on a platter of gold.
Well, the point, you know, like you, just as you like alluded, oftentimes in life, all of us have a journey we'll go through, process we'll go through. We don't know how it will work out. We don't know how it will pan out. But somehow we go through various processes, and those processes, at the end of the day, it will make meaning at the end. You will see it helping you or in line with what you are doing. That would at the end you just wow. So this is why I went through it. Even though when you were going through it, you would think maybe God has forgotten you or God is bad to you. But you see, you could imagine the fact that coming from that background to now come to the USAID exposure of meeting with various people and then you can now get new perspective to life and new people and mentors you are looking up to.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. Some of the things you've alluded to, and ladies and gentlemen, our guest has dropped some wonderful nuggets, and I think it's important to recap those great things you mentioned. You made the fact that in life, society often has benchmarks, and sometimes those benchmarks they use to cap us. So we should not put ourselves or agree with the benchmark or the mold that society used to call us. We should not agree with that. Then you've mentioned a wonderful point, in fact, that in life, the issue of, and I put it here, I said, your continuity in life, your ability to continue in life depends on your adoption and adaptation. Your adaptation. If you're not able to adapt. So, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know what you are going through currently. If you are watching this live or you are going to rewatch this, you must be able to reinvent yourself. You must be able to learn how to adapt and adopt new ways of life and new skill sets, new things that would help you to get attuned to the new challenges and the new situation. Now, I'm sorry, again, you made another important point in what you are saying, and I could see all those things you've gone through is showing, because if we leave you now, we'll be here till next tomorrow. It says, again, the understanding of your audience analysis and situation analysis is important.
Yes.
And it means, therefore, in the context of what we are talking about, we are in the issue of COVID, we are in the issue of challenges, crises all over the world. So every person, to be able to survive, must take stock of the situation.
Yes.
And know, how would I adapt in this situation? And I used to ask the question when we started this show, and it's still valid, that if any of us will be asked to remain in our house for the next 5 years and not leave your house, how will you survive? How will you make money from inside your room and inside your house? And how will you make impact from inside your room and inside your house?
Yes, sir.
And which now goes to the other point you mentioned, that human beings, we don't know the fact that we are complex machine. In other words, I was telling somebody like that of recent, yesterday or day before yesterday, that we can do more than we can ever imagine. We are like elastic rubber. We can expand. We can expand for any kind of situations, and to be able to, key into that situation and make something great to come out of our lives. So it's wonderful. And let me finish before I ask my next question, where you said that how, where, and when you were born does not matter. It is why you were born that is the most important thing. It is why, understanding, which is what we used to start this show, my first opening statement, that understanding your why is very, very, very important. Because if you understand your why, it will put everything into perspective. You'll be able to have a bigger picture, and you will not take what you are going through in life currently as the end of your life. As you will not see as if the end has come and want to go and commit suicide. You will see it as a process that you are being made. So now, with all of these great things you've already shared with us, how will you define creativity?
Creativity has to do with bringing forth.
Okay, bringing forth.
It has to do with bringing forth. It has to do with thinking out solutions. It has to do with manufacturing.
Okay.
It has to do with I'm trying to use.
Are you with me? It has to do with, I didn't get the last point you mentioned.
When you mention the word creativity, it has a lot to do with your mind.
Your mind, okay.
It has a lot to do with your mind, your imagination. As a matter of fact, creativity, in my own words, can be referred to the fruits of your imagination. Creativity isn't only for good purposes. It can also be for negative purposes. In life, there is good and there is bad. Those guys who come up with weapons and all those things that destroy human lives, it's creativity.
Yeah.
But they try to use it
negatively.
But so in our case, and maybe COVID is the blessing in disguise. Now, what I'm trying to explain is that if we hadn't undergone or experienced this kind of situation, a lot of us will not have paid attention the way we are right now.
I wouldn't meet you. I would not start, even though I've been wanting to start this show for quite a long time. I planned to do some journey to Africa, to Botswana, where I have students and my mentees and other places to do conferences. But when this happened, then what happened? I said, well, I must do something, and this started. So if there's no COVID, I wouldn't have met you. We would not be having this conversation.
Exactly. So it's a blessing in disguise. A blessing in disguise. If it hadn't happened, you see, and that's why sometimes when you come from the developed world, the Western world, United States, United Kingdom, where you have everything working for you, you might not really dig deep. You might really not look inside and understand the importance of why you were created. Because you go to school and you get a job and everything is okay. You build a house or two and you're fine. You change the currency of your present place. They change it to Zimbabwean dollar, Nigerian naira, and it looks as if you're doing well. It is not bad. It is not bad, but there is more to life than you think.
So correct, and what you're saying is very important, that creativity is key, and there's more to life. And it's more of what this show is all about, to help people to know that there's more to life, that you can make impact anywhere you are.
Anywhere.
You can make impact, and to begin to look and be more concerned about what is happening around. Be more observant. Be more, look, don't just see. Look and see.
Be more observant. Be more observant.
Now, let me tell you, part of why I'm saying that is that I grew up in Ajegunle.
Okay, yeah, I worked in Ajegunle.
I grew up.
Ajapo.
Oh, yeah, Adapo. Okay. I work in Owoyemi, Alaba, Suru, Alaba. That's where I grew up. That's where I grew up.
I know all those places. I know those are the areas where I worked. For the USAID. So all those places, even those Bako interiors.
Bako, yeah. Oko Baba Sule. All those areas,
that's where I did my USAID practice. So we went into the slums and we talked to people. We thought our situations were bad. We didn't know that we were enjoying.
No, when you enter Bako,
when you enter
Bako and you see people sleeping on shacks, and you now know that there is grade of poverty.
Yeah, you will appreciate. Yes.
That there's grade of poverty. So I grew up in there, and I went to Agausa Primary School.
I know that school.
And early Agausa. From early Agausa, they migrated us to go and finish up at Jimo Ojora Primary School, which is just at Okoko, just before you get to last bus stop, before you get to Okoko.
Yes.
So the point, yeah, before. So the point I'm making, which is what you have alluded to earlier, is that where you are born does not matter. When you are born does not matter.
To whom you were born.
To whom you are born does not matter. The circumstances that it was even about your birth, it does not really matter. What matters is why were you born and what have you decided to do with your life. So if you decide to just pass through life, that is you for you. But if you decide that, I need to bring change, I cannot just pass through this place, Now, making and bringing change, either you stumble into it, or you walked into it, or they dropped it on you, where anyhow you got it, just ensure that you are making change.
Yes, sir.
And that is what this show is about. So
Yes,
for all our guests to say that there are things you in your community that you can solve. I'm still passionate and I'm still dreaming of having my part of the things I'm a researcher. My research is on corporate social responsibility, and I'm still passionate of doing some projects in where I grew up in Ajegunle, because I cannot forget all my experience of walking and trekking from Elia Gausa to Owoyemi bus stop where we live at Owoyemi Street, 5 Owoyemi Street. My father has a shop in Adekoya where we sell record, you know, and you know all those things. So it's important, and you have underscored it, that in everybody there is creativity. And there is skill. And there's a point you mentioned, so, and which I think is very important for, and if you are watching this show, please, and if you are going through anything, any depression, or you are going through challenges of life, and you are having suicidal thoughts, you don't have to end your life. You don't have to commit suicide. You don't have to carry all those burdens alone. It's just for you to develop coping strategies. But in having those coping strategies, also speak out. Because from your point of drumming, you know, in drumming for you was was a coping strategy.
Yes.
Drumming was a coping strategy for those things you went through at that point. So you gave yourself. So at the point in which you are drumming, you are just saying, I'm going to beat this drum to the nonsense. It's just releasing the burden, releasing the pressure, and all those things. So, and I think
I was engaging my mind. I was engaging myself. I was not just being. I was not just idle.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, not everybody gets to understand that.
Yeah.
About life. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you're just not being idle and doing something. Now, for you as a person, what charity issues have you been involved with? And I know, at least based on all these things you told us about your experience, as per your organization, your company now, and all the things you've been doing, having worked in, you know, for these 20 years of stand-up comedy, and you have a network of people. What kind of projects are you involved with as corporate social responsibility?
We started. In most cases, what people remember is that Holy Malam, the comedian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually okay. I started with comedy. I became a professional master of ceremonies. You know.
Okay, MC. Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Bisi Olatilo, Uncle Sunday Rabo, Dr. Ikenna Ndagoba, and all those people. Mr. Yinka Craig of blessed memory. Those are Dr. Lydia Dronoma. Those are people I learned from. Mr. Shola Ajadi. You know how to become a professional MC. Now, after that, I felt there was need to do more. You know, so gradually, I started meeting people. My events, as MC at events, I'll meet people. I'll do events for government, those in government. So I started meeting people. People who went into business.
Yeah.
And I started having mentors who are business
owners, yeah,
businessmen and women. And I've been learning from them since that time till now.
To now, excellent.
Since that time till now, I learned from somebody, Mr. Ayoarolo. He authored a book. I read it and it changed my life. The title of the book is The New Millionaire's Capsule. New Millionaire's Capsule. I read it. I read another one authored by another one, Mr. Leke Alder, The Great Alchemy. Turning problems into business. I read that book. Then Mr. Ayoarolo told me one day, I remember vividly, he said it takes 8 to 10 years to build a brand. I was about 8-9 years. Then it takes 8 to 10 years to build a brand. And you know, so I've been, you have stayed, so I knew that build a brand. Then one of my leaders, one of my mentors, spiritual mentors, he said something. He said that all the things we do from day one to year 10, to year 15, and all of that. What we do, especially when we execute whatever we're called to do, when we do it professionally, professionally, that's putting integrity and all those things into. Because there's no time, I'm just trying to.
I know.
He said, what you build social capital.
Correct.
You build social capital. You build men and women of influence. That once you give them one call, you are just a call away from people who can support your cause.
Correct.
So I did all of that. Then I became a certified life coach.
Okay.
Yeah. I am now a certified life coach. I'm an NLP practitioner. I went to take that course. Thank God for my wife. She introduced it to me because I felt, okay, I'm doing well.
Oh, you are NLP certified. Interesting.
Yes, I am. I'm an NLP.
Interesting.
Yes, I'm NLP certified. I'm also a life coach. So
So you do swapping, hypnosis, and all those stuffs.
Hypnosis in Nigeria is where.
I know. Well, you might not necessarily call it hypnosis, but at least you run the test, because I'm also vast in that.
Very good.
So because for you to be, if you are going to be a speaker or a teacher,
yes,
you need to be able to help people to unpack all the baggage for them to be able to become
take them out of their present situation
into a safe
where they can assimilate what you have.
Correct.
So you can have people present and their mind is not present.
Correct.
And you have a lot of people, it deals with their attention span and all of that. So when it comes to presentation, when it comes to speaking, and all those things, you need them so that you can have, and that was part of what I learned. I had not thought about NLP at all. Johns Hopkins University taught me how to be in my audience's shoe, how to command my audience's attention, and how to sustain it. By speaking their language, engaging them, so that whatever you are disseminating as information,
they will accept.
Understand. It would have been what they want, because you gather people and all of that. Some people attend functions. All they want to do is eat the snacks and go back home. So they learn anything? No. So these are techniques, just to be an effective speaker, like you said.
Correct.
earlier. So I have all of that. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I went into business. I am doing business. I'm still doing business, and I will still do more. So all of these things I put aside. Then, as we're growing, I partnered with, or rather, I enjoyed sponsorship from one of my mentors. And we started going to secondary schools. And this I'm discussing with you. I went to, I can't remember how many secondary schools. We started teaching them. Young. We started trying to catch them young, how to help them develop themselves. So rather than waiting, go to school, which is the conventional, get into it, and live life like others do. You start challenging them at a young age.
To begin to think.
Start thinking, start looking deep to know what you have on the inside. What do you carry? What are you wired for? What can you do that a lot of people cannot do? There are lots of problems everywhere. If you can think very well, you use your skills, your natural abilities God has given you. You can actually you can actually solve problems, and which is where we are going.
Yeah.
That is the essence of your existence. You must understand. Yeah. You must understand and appreciate why you are in existence. If you can know that, then you. Because why did God?
Can you hear me?
Decide to create you.
Okay.
That's a pertinent question.
Yeah. Why did God decide to create you?
Why? So if you understand that, it's usually between you. Two people know what you are worth. The one who created you, that's the one who put it there, and you who have decided to choose, to dig deep and discover what it is. You know what it is, you develop it, then you use it positively. And that's what life will remember you about. They will remember you for what you did, for your own contribution, for your own, for the quarter you contributed, and all of that. That is what life is about. A lot of people are there, they are just consumers, and we're not being judgmental. No, not at all. A lot of people don't have an idea of who they are. I am telling you, if you had an idea, you probably will be doing exceptionally well. You know, in times of problems like this, where it looks as if, everybody is stranded. No. See Zoom.
Zoom is making money. Yeah.
No, if we even talk about those big guys, you say, those guys, they are techie guys and all of that. Creativity isn't, there's a misconception I want us to deal with.
Okay.
A lot of people feel that creativity only has to do with art and entertainment. No.
Of course, no.
Creativity is needed in every aspect of life.
Even as a human being, to live your life, you need to be creative.
You need to be creative. You remember those days when you have torn trousers?
Yeah.
In secondary school, I will have torn trousers. You are not allowed to go out to go and meet who to sew. So if you don't have needle and thread, what will happen? You go to the dispensary, you get plaster, you select it from inside and you iron it into parts till you finish school. That is creativity.
Yeah.
Now, for your personal use, you are creative. There are lots of people around you. I tell people that virtually every man you see, virtually every woman you see on the street has your money with them, but they will not give it to you until you give them products or
value.
services.
Yeah, value.
So what is it that you can do? You have not tried it because you have a job. Somebody is paying you, and you feel that life is easy. Now that the jobs have disappeared, they've evaporated because of COVID. What do you need to do? You will now go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Start thinking, I could make bangles. I can fry akara in such a way that when I package in Aso Rock, they will be ordering for my akara. They say there's no movement, but the post office is still working. Somebody told me the other day, I met her in Dallas. She said that there's someone who makes soup. She makes soup. She makes all those things. It will be frozen. Then she goes to the post office at night. She sends it. By the time you get it in Maryland, it is still frozen. It is still cold. She sends a soup to every part of the United States. I know someone who bakes bread. She bakes bread in the United States. She sends it through the post office, and they send it to different states, and people buy. There was a lady I was mentoring the other day. I won't mention her business here. I want to help her privacy. She's doing well. She went to Covenant University. She had a job. They used to pay $70,000 and all of that, transportation and all. Before you know what's happening, the money is but she likes to cook. In those days, there was no cooking. But I told her, I said, do this, do that. She's the one who has the idea. She cooks. I can't cook to save anybody's life, to save my life or my family. But she was the one who understood how to do it then. But I told her, stop asking people to order online. Don't worry, don't come to our place. We'll bring the food.
We'll bring the food to you.
We'll bring the food to you. You don't necessarily have to be the first with that idea. It is called creativity. People have always been doing it. Some people are complacent. The way they are complacent, where they are, people come to meet them. You see some people even talking anyhow to their customers because of the quality of what they have.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that there are people who can do better. Rather than you standing or going to cure. I saw my father killed, as a manager, a whole manager, Balogun, Lagos Island. He was holding plates. Everybody was lining up. I thought they wanted to do election. I was so disappointed when I saw my father holding plates. If you let your tie belong from here to the next zip code, you will hold plate because that woman felt that she was the all and all when it came to cooking food. But in this case, you saw a young lady who will package her food, very good quality. She will bring it to you when you are. Of course, you will pay for the services. She has taken time. She has saved you time. She has helped you preserve your body. You are not exposed to sunlight. And you'll enjoy the food. And guess what? It is called she has planned for continuity because she will expect that every time you look forward to when she will bring
the food to you.
Comfort.
And I think
that is one aspect.
I think you have mentioned something. Coconut Dracula, welcome, thank you, and other people.
I saw some of my friends too.
Bobby Balo, welcome, Ella baby.
Chukuma, yes.
You're welcome. Now I think there's something we need to mention here. I think we have been there's a disservice done us by our parents, and that thing is still being taught, that until you go to school, and see, I'm not saying going to school is not good. I have a PhD by the grace of God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see, it is not the PhD that will give you what you are worth and what you can deliver. Somebody mentioned the other day, and you alluded to the fact, even just before now, that when you go to a job and you're being given 70,000, the person who is giving you 70,000 per month actually is making 500,000 on you from you working for that person.
Yes, so you are a stream of income.
Yeah. So the person knows that I can really much give you 70,000, but I can make times 5 of that because you are working for me. Yes. So if it is your brain the person is using, if you now become the owner of your own boss, if you become the owner of yourself, it means you can also make that 7 raised to power 5.
And choose to pay 100K to other people you will employ too.
And I agree. Everybody cannot be an entrepreneur, or everybody cannot own a business.
Yes, sir.
But we must all know that our life survival does not depend on our certificates. And that's the key point. Either a BSc, either an MSc, either a PhD, raised to power, whatever number of PhDs you have. If you are not able to have, and that is the challenge why our country and Africa is going through, now we are slaves in quote to China. Because we go to school to do civil engineering, we go to school to study mechanical engineering, we go to school to study business market and everything, and we are not able to make anything, like you said, creativity is manufacturing. We're not able to manufacture anything.
Yes.
So it's challenging that we must all break from the mold of seeing that we are solution providers. We have something to offer. And it starts by you knowing who you are and knowing what is inside of you, what you have, and yes, what you are wired for, so that you can be able to now know how you will be able to be a solution provider. And I think
your own contribution to your society.
Correct.
It's as a matter of fact, life runs on creativity. Life. God regulates the world. So he decides to create all of us with different ideas and abilities. I think that's what runs the world. You know, you have people, usually when I speak, I start with this, from the beginning you have an idea of where I'm going. You have people who take care of trees. You have people who buy houses, who make houses, who make automobiles. You have people who are plumbers. You have people who make hair. You have people who take care of the teeth. You have dentists. You have people who make glasses.
You're wearing.
Who cut hair. You have people who do exfoliation. You have people who do massage. You have people who cook food. Major food. You have people who make dessert. You have different
kind of things.
Different aspects of life. You have people who take care of the living. You have people who take care
of the dead.
Life is very balanced. So the pertinent question is that, what is my own role?
Yeah.
Am I just coming to spectate and go? And a lot of, if you think it's only Africa, it's not only Africa, in America. Don't be fooled. In any developed country where you have infrastructure and everything, you go, you come, there's lights, there are good roads, there's everything. If you are not careful, you won't think this.
Of course, yes.
If you are not careful. So we are grateful to Nigeria, to Africa, where we did not have all those things. We generate our own infrastructure. It is very expensive. It is very harsh business climate we have. But you see, it takes for those who want to learn. For those who want to, am I saying it is good? No. You can think and get better. Mark Zuckerberg and all those people. We're here in America. White people, a lot of when I finish speaking with them, when I speak to people, it's as if I do jazz. It's not jazz. I am just sharing what I know. Like I told you earlier, I'm not better than anybody.
Correct.
Nobody's better than me. If I know you, it's because we're opportune to serve in the same generation.
Yeah.
And guess what? There is more you have on the inside.
Correct.
There is more that you can be an accountant. I've seen a medical doctor who is a chef and he's doing well. He's passionate about cooking. Creativity has helped him come up with dishes that people do not know. And because it is not something everybody is used to, everybody wants to buy because everything that is new attracts people. Innovation attracts people.
Yeah.
Innovation
So
attracts people.
Wow. I cannot believe that we have spent 1 hour and Facebook is about.
That's why I wanted to give us as much as possible.
Wow.
1 hour, 2 hours can never be.
Wow.
Next of Dr. Les Brown. Dr. Les Brown. I communicated with him because I've spoken on the same platform with him. Dr. Miles Monroe.
Yeah.
Dr. Stephen Covey of Blessed Memory. You know, I was nothing before.
Yeah.
I felt I was nothing before. You know, people told me, oh, you amount to nothing. Look at the kind of people I've spoken with. I met a lot of people. I've not met them. Just on phone. Just on phone. And I was this kind of person who had nothing, no hope. You were saying some people wanted to kill themselves. On 2 occasions, I was suicidal. Yes. In 1995. Yeah. I wanted to kill myself because everything was difficult, everything was hard. What you need to survive in life, God already equipped you. He saw it. He saw that you would be a solution before he produced you, manufactured it as a solution that will happen in the next 28 years, 35 years, 40 years, depending on when your time of manifestation comes. That was what he saw before he decided to inject you into this world. So every human being is a solution carrier. But they don't know.
They don't know. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Wow. I as if we should just how I wish that we have just less than 2 minutes. Instagram will time us out now. Well, thank you so much for coming to Spark Creativity. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've learned something. I hope you've learned about adaptation and adoption of your new circumstances. I hope you've learned various things that will help us to expand ourselves. We have capacity to do more than what we can imagine. We have many things in us. And you have more than one, like our guest says, you have more than one talent. If you believe it, you would. Thank you, Segalink. We can see you, sir. Thank you for coming by, Segalink. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, all. It's been a wonderful time. We've had a great time.